Okay, so what I have here is a 2008 Saturn Astra, otherwise known as Opel Astra. This is an XR model. As you see, this is the engine configuration. Now I'll tell you, all the video I watched, everybody was saying take the battery out, check your EGR valve, pull the plugs, pull the coil. Now the coil is just under here. Change out the coil. I changed out the coil, changed all the plugs, everything was still having the same symptom. The symptom was, if you're having this symptom, couldn't go above roughly 1500 RPM, occasionally get up to 2000 RPM, accelerator all the way to the floor, and what was happening, it would just bog down. It would chug, no accelerant, it wouldn't have any power, barely going down the road. Idled fine, but when it came to acceleration, nothing could happen. Now what I tried to do was I tried to put back together what the symptom was so you could actually hear it chug and how it sounded. There is another video posted that it sounded identical to what this car was doing. Problem is, once I found out what the problem was, which I'm going to go down to the front of this vehicle. Once I figured out the problem, took this apart, as you'll see, I have my catalytic converter here. There's two catalytic converters on this car. There's the upper one, which is this chamber right here. I don't know if you can see it with the backlight. And then there's the lower, you have a flex expansion hose there, and then there's your second catalytic converter. Now we had a lot of rain this past winter, and I'm fairly confident that when my daughter drove, she probably hit a lot of puddles. And because of those puddles, I think cold water probably went up on that catalytic converter all the way to the middle there, the hump you see there, and cracked the ceramic baffle inside the catalytic converter, which essentially caused this thing to collapse and fall into the pipe, and essentially ended up blocking off. Sorry, I'm having a problem reaching that. There's actually 3 bolts here, but I'm gonna pause this just for a second here. Let's see here. Trying to get this third bolt. There's 3 bolts to this. You'll need an extension. This is a 13 millimeter. And again, I'm kind of tight in here. But what I was getting, I believe, when I released this the first time, everything moved around, and I believe it opened up the exhaust. So then when I tried to recreate this noise for you so I could provide you this video, what I found was it was squealing so bad, and it wasn't giving me the same symptom, which means it's still open. Still open, but it squeals like crazy because of the way that catalytic converter is back in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go start up the car and show you that the bogging down, after just removing and loosening up that first flange, when I removed that first flange, now put the key in this unit. Now this is kind of what the unit looks like, as you'll see. When I removed that first flange, or broke that flange open to where I wasn't getting any back pressure, this is what happened. Now, it's louder now because the flange is loose, but as you'll hear, as you'll see, before I was going, I get right about 1500, and it bogged down and dropped down to 0. Now with that flange removed and no back pressure, I have plenty of RPMs to get this unit, to get this vehicle down the road. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to order that catalytic converter, and once I get that ordered, I'm going to assemble this back together, and I'm sure we're not going to have any problems. So do yourself a favor, don't follow all those other pieces of advice. Break that flange, it's just 3 bolts loose. try that first. You'll probably find that's your problem. Amazing. Hope you enjoyed this. Look forward to your comments, and hope to put a second video on of the new catalytic converter being put in place and how it sounds and looks, and hopefully this saves you a lot of time, energy, and aggravation that I went through. Thanks for watching my video.